of me. You know, I haven't been married and dating for so many years. I always had my father to take care of bills and my son, and who's going to take care of me? And I had to learn what a sense of entitlement was. And I was like, oh, this is what she's talking about. You know, this is what but my father just made it like, this is your life. So I thought it was normal. You know, I thought that was normal. I thought, you know, oh, we're very, very blessed. No, it's spoiled rotten. Like they asked me what I suffer from. I'm like, SRBS, spoiled rotten brat syndrome. Like I have names for everything that I grew up with. And I learned, yeah, it was a sense of entitlement to the point where I didn't understand it. I said to Jennifer, how do you even spell that word?
Seriously. Were you shocked? Because like I remember in the beginning, like, were you shocked that this show even got green lit? Because I remember like there was Jersey Housewives where you talked about maybe we make some like allusions to the lifestyle and the wise guys, but this really was putting it out front and center. Like in a way, like the show came out and it was a huge hit, but I was like, how did this ever get green lit? I mean, and I'm glad it did, but
Wow.
was it like a process?
Okay, so the first meeting that we had with VH1, they turned us right down. They basically told us to leave the office. And then my sister had gotten involved with Harvey Weinstein, and we're not going to even touch on the whole thing, but we know he said something and people did it. So that's what happened. And in a matter of that one phone call, VH1 picked up Mob Wives, and it wasn't, everybody knew it was a hit. David Glasser had the meeting. So we had left the VH1 meeting and we went to Nobu. And it was Drita and I, and or Karen and I don't remember which one it was, but we were at Nobu and we went to meet Jennifer and David Glasser. And we just started talking about the show. And he said, Harvey, this is it. And it literally, that was it. It was a phone call. The next thing you know, we're signing contracts. Had I wish I read them better. Had I wish I read them better. Um, but it was an overnight sensation. I knew it would be. There's no possible way something about the mob couldn't be one of the biggest things. You know what I mean? And now there's women, and we weren't talking about anything. Anything that we said was all public knowledge. So none of us said anything wrong, but we got in so much trouble, the women, that we weren't welcome in places. And that was a strange feeling for me. Because I was no longer, they were looking at me funny. And I'm like, what are you looking at me? I'm not doing nothing wrong. You know, I'm talking about my life, my father, my world. And that's not my world. You know, that world is where the men belong, not where the women belong. And I learned that too recently. After my father passed away, you get to see a lot. You get to see who's fake, who's phony, who's really. Now I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave that one alone right now because that's a very sensitive subject for me. Watching people turn into who they always really were.
People that were just around because of who your father was and his place in the business.
Yep. Yeah, my father was a big deal. And his daughters ended up being a big deal on TV. So I can say this, I went from being Anthony's daughter to him being Renee's father. So that was a really uncomfortable feeling for him in MDC when he was in like the feds in Brooklyn when he was fighting his case. Somebody was like, hey, it's Renee's father. And he was not happy with that one. So my father didn't talk to me and my sister for 2 years.
I know, all because of the show.
Yeah, 2 years. So so I have regrets. Yeah, because you can't get back time. And I missed out on 2 years and he's not here anymore. But I have regrets and I don't, because I think it might have saved my life, and it saved me from being married to or wanting to even get back with my ex-husband, who obviously was the devil.
What was the, because right, like you go, like you say, like you grew up like spoiled brat, like your father's daughter, so people are like, come on in, Renee, we're gonna take care of you, right? So like when the show came out, what, the guys were just like, you're out there like opening your mouth, even though it was about your life, there was that like, you're on TV spilling our business.
Well, no, no, no. I never had a problem per se with men. It was more or less everyone had this, everybody looked at us as if we did something wrong, but we weren't doing anything wrong. But well, we were in a way. Yeah. Today I could tell you we were. It wasn't the best look for my father's life. However, it changed my life. Where now I'm, working on memoirs, and I'm, we're writing like a script for a movie. So it changed my world, where my father, maybe he could do more from above than he could down here. So I have to look at it into lights. I feel bad for what we did in a way, but I'm like, I couldn't have my father forever. How am I going to take care of myself? You know what I mean? And what do I know best? My lifestyle. So,
How did you guys come to reconcile? Because I know, you had this period of not speaking because you're on the show. I mean, thank God you did, right? Like you said, you have regrets, but you don't. Like, how was it? He just one day it became such a big hit and everyone wanted to watch. Like,
no, my father never watched the show. Never watched anything to do with me with television.
wow.
But I had plastic surgery in the end of season one, gone terribly wrong, where I flatlined, got MRSA through my whole body. So I actually was like read my last rites twice. And my father, he was away. My mother was, on the phone, and he realized like that his daughter could be gone. He limited me. He said, "We're never going to talk about this." The conversation really was very, very minimal, but I mean, it's my father. He loves me. He just didn't want to talk about this. So it wasn't a conversation that we had. There were no visits for 2 years. There was no nothing. So it was a very sad situation to basically lose my dad to this TV show. But he let me redeem myself. He let me redeem myself right now. Okay, up, Grandma, put your shoes on. Say hi.
Hi.
Have a seat here. Have a seat over here so Grandma can help. So I'm Grandma today. Well, I was Grandma last night, and I'm Grandma today.
Oh, I
Yes,
know.
he's
I
trying to be
know
on
your
TV.
glamour because I see your Instagram, which we're also going to talk about in a few minutes. I got some questions.
Oh, you mean okay? My face app, because I look like a different person in
N-
every photo.
No, that is not what I mean. I mean, just there's a lot, you're a glamour. What was it
Yes.
like? Because you said like you knew it was going to be a huge hit. I mean, I guess you really have Harvey Weinstein to like thank for this, right?
Yeah, yes, Anthony, give me the foot. Yeah. Um, yes, I didn't have a problem with him personally. He never was at disrespect, nothing like that. I don't really even want to touch on him, but yeah, you know, again, I married the spawn of the devil, then I worked for one, then, it's a lifestyle of one. And I'm not saying he's the devil, but I'm saying there's a lot of devils around. You know what I mean? And in ways you sell your soul and you sell yourself for that fame. Now, they didn't pay me enough to sell myself. Do you know what I mean? They didn't pay me enough to sell myself. And my relationship with God is so good, I was able to get my life back. You know, but yeah, there's a lot of people to thank. I have to thank my sister, and I don't want to either. You know what I mean? There's a lot. I have to thank the girls, and who wants to do that? you know. So we're all to thank. We all did a tremendous job, tremendous production.